Hello, I'm here to pick up where we left off yesterday and talk a little bit about survival skills as well as a brief overview of the skill system in general. So, here we go. What I've basically done here is I've set up a little canned scenario where I can show you how the skill system works. Here we've got a locked door, and you can see there's some goodies in here. But thankfully, I left the back door open. Okay. So what we've got here is a shelf full of books and some lockpick kits, which I'll pick up right now. Yes, the lockpick kits look like keys. So we got a shelf full of books, some of which teach you skills, and some of which don't, mostly survival skills in this case. And you'll notice an immediate difference between the books on the above shelf and the bottom shelf. And this is to indicate to you, if you choose, which books are actually going to help you learn a skill. So you can sort of know what to shoot for. The rest of the books, books like the ones you're writing, lore books, stuff like that, won't have this particular highlight. If that bothers you, if you'd rather sort of find out on your own, you'll be able to turn off that highlight in the immersion settings. Okay, so before we actually start learning some skills, let's look at the skills that we already have. All right, here's the skills screen. Here you've got your Pathfinder's Guild skills from novice on up to master. You can see a complete skill tree here because as a member of the Pathfinder's Guild, you pretty much know what's going to be expected of you. You start out with your basic skills: examine, update map, follow path, improve path, where you can pick up a path marker and put it down somewhere. And then by the time you hit apprentice, which happens pretty early in the game, you're able to use fast travel, spyglass, etc., and so on. This is the only skill set where you acquire new skills by leveling up. And you level up by gaining experience by exploring things. The more things you find, the more locations you find, the more paths you create to locations and connect things, the more experience you get, and the quicker you level up. In crafting, it's a little bit different. You'll see that you don't level up, you just have categories. And each category has a progression. So you start out with crafting, and then you move on to fast crafting, and crafting is a prerequisite, etc. Then you move on to repair, improve, and so on. We'll get into all of these in a separate crafting update, but for now just know that this is how most of the skill systems work. You have a tree of sorts. It's not really a tree because it's just a linear progression, but you have multiple points of entry, and then you continue to add to your skills as you progress. In crafting, you have pick lock, and this is the first skill I'll demonstrate. You see that it's sort of this gray color. In contrast, up here, you've got this sort of brighter color. You've also got, in the survival skills, you've got these brighter colors. That indicates that you learned the skill. If it's gray, it means that you know that the skill exists, but you haven't learned it yet. If it's black, it means you don't even know what it is. I mean, I'm obviously tipping my hand by putting a dark square there. You know that something's there. But the idea is that your character has, only the vaguest sense that there's a skill that could follow or build upon the previous skill. And there are often books that will teach you a skill while also revealing the next skill. If you learn a prerequisite, the next skill is automatically revealed, but occasionally you can learn a skill 2 or 3 spots down the line merely because a book mentioned it. This comes in handy with magic, which, as you can see, is almost entirely blacked out from the start. We'll be doing a complete magic update later, so I'll get into all that later, but for now I'll say that the reason why it's so blacked out is because magic is regarded with a little bit of hostility from within the guild. And so your character starts out not really knowing much about it. Lastly, there's Obex, which is just a big question mark. You see there aren't that many skills. More might get added, but for now, that's all you have to work with. And I'm not going to get into them at all because it's huge spoilers. So, okay, so back to crafting. So here we start out not knowing a bloody thing. So I'm going to learn to lockpick. As I demonstrated earlier, if I try to pick a lock, the contextual menu reveals that that skill is possible, but you're not able to select it. This also gets grayed out if you don't have the correct tools. For instance, if I didn't have lockpick kits in my inventory, it would be grayed out because I wouldn't be able to actually pick it, even if I knew the skill. In general, I try to show you what's possible with items, even if you're not able to do it right away, because it sort of gives you a clue as to what you could be searching for in terms of books or tutors or whatever. That's the other thing. You can learn from NPCs. If you find, say, a blacksmith or an engineer, as they're called in guild lore. If you find an engineer who's willing to teach you, you can pay him a little bit of money, and he'll teach you the skill in much the same way a book does. Just this is pretty standard. Okay, so I'm going to pick up this lockpicking book, and I'm going to learn to pick a lock. Someone suggested that I move this little dialogue lower and allow you to sort of do your own thing, like you're taking a walk and reading a book, and I agree. That's something I'll be doing. Okay, so now I've got pick lock. It's all set to go. It's highlighted, and now since I've got my lockpicking kits, I should be able to, yep, pick the lock. And it's picked. Now, there was actually a chance that I wouldn't be able to do it because there's a difficulty associated with it, which will be revealed in your examine skill eventually. But you see that it consumed a lockpick, and now it opens up. So that is the process for learning a skill. Now let's pick up some other skills here. Let's take a look at survival. As you can see, there are lots of points of entry for the survival skill tree, and here it really is sort of a tree. Here you've got some progressions to different skills in a non-linear path. There aren't a lot of branches because I didn't want players to get stuck at bottlenecks where they would find a book but couldn't learn the skill because they didn't have the prerequisite. I mean, I find that thing sort of tedious. I like skill trees to be more about skills that complement each other as opposed to skills that require one another. In fact, there's a chance I might do away with the concept of prerequisites altogether and simply have skills grant you a compound bonus as you acquire more in the same tree, as opposed to requiring that you learn the one before it before you can actually use it. Okay, so what do these skills do? What kind of survival skills do you have at your disposal? Well, you've got in your hunting section, gathering, trapping, fishing, and bow. Gathering, you saw the other day, it enhances your examination skill so that you can identify beneficial plants. Trapping is really simple. You just lay down a trap, leave the area, and depending on how good your trapping skill is, when you come back, something will either be caught or not. And you can increase the odds of trapping an animal if you place it near an animal's den. Pretty simple. Fishing, I don't actually know how fishing is going to work yet. I barely have it prototyped, so I'm not going to get into it. And then there's bow. I'll give you a little demonstration of bow right now, as a matter of fact. Okay, so real quick here, I'm just going to do a demonstration of with skills and without skills. So here I've sort of cheated the system and given myself the archery skill, or the bow skill rather. And I'm going to go out and try to aim at this torch, and you just draw back and release. And there's no animation yet, obviously, but oh, there you go. And this is just me eyeballing it. Not bad, not bad. There's no HUD or anything. There's no real indicator. Oh, there's the sun. There's no indicator of where exactly you're aiming. You just got to sort of get a feel for it. And as you can see, I'm not doing too bad here. So yeah, with the bow skill, you can hit a pretty distant target if you're patient enough. And as you practice more, you get better and better. So pretty decent spread there. All right, now I've gone back and done a memory wipe. Now I don't know the bow skill, so let's see what happens. I've also greatly exaggerated for the purposes of demonstration how bad you get. Yeah. Okay, yeah, so this is a little ridiculous, but if I didn't turn it up this high, it might not be apparent that that the game is sort of causing these misfires. So the idea here is that because you just don't know the bow skill, because you don't know what you're supposed to do or how to handle a bow, your arrows go a little crazy. You still gain a little bit of experience from doing it. You still get slightly better, but you're gonna level off at some point until you get a tutor or until you find a book. So, oh nice, twice in a row. All right, so that's it. This sucks, but I gotta stop again. I'm out of time. I gotta get back to visual effects for a little while, but I kind of covered stuff, I guess. It was sort of half skills, half survival. So More later, as usual. Okay.